I'm Alice Hart-Davis, and this week's Tweak of the Week is an under-eye tear-trough correction. Now, this is a treatment done for hollow eyes using a really fine filler called Perfecta Fine Lines. And I'm here in Manchester at the Skin Doctors Clinic to meet Dr Saleena Zimri, who is going to do this treatment and show us exactly what it's like. So come with me, we'll go and take a look. Selena, you are an expert cosmetic doctor. Under-eye treatments have become one of your big things, haven't they?
When I started this business about 10 years ago, tear-troughs was just about emerging, and people were using fillers and the simple lines, and then we discovered, we could fill the hollows under the eyes, and I think I was one of the first doctors really that started experimenting with this in the north, certainly.
This is a really popular procedure. It's one I find people are really intrigued by because so many of us have trouble with dark circles. And can you talk a bit about who it works for and who it doesn't work for?
I suppose the commonest mistake I see is people who come in who think it's going to treat colour, and it's not going to treat pigmentation around the eyes. So dark circles can mean a lot of things to people. It can mean colour, it can mean lines, it can mean hollowness, and really what we're treating with tear-trough deformities is the hollowing and the volume loss under the eyes and the separation.
And choosing the right product for the tear-trough is really important as well, because this is such a delicate area. Skin is so thin, you've got to have something that's nice and flexible under there. So is this why you like the Perfecta Fine Lines for it?
Absolutely. So they've got a range of products, but I always choose the finest product because under the eyes, we've got very little fat in the actual skin of the lower lid. You need a fine product that will essentially fill the gap, but also be quite delicate and be quite sensitive to the fact that we have quite a lot of structures and water retaining capabilities around the eye.
How long does it last for?
A long time actually. Often I'm having to send people away who are coming back quite soon. I would say the average patient about 18 months to 2 years.
So Ellie, you have kindly stepped up to be our patient today for the tear-trough work. So what's made you think of doing this?
So I've always had really hollow eyes, and most mornings I have to wake up I'd probably say 20 minutes earlier to do my concealer, set it with powder, more concealer, and then if one morning I don't do that, people are something's wrong with you.
So Selena, is Ellie a good candidate for this procedure?
Yes, so we've chosen Ellie because she is, obviously she's quite young. As we get older, we do have sort of baggier skin and more sort of looser skin and more fat pad protrusion under the eye, and usually with those kind of people, depending on the size, they're not really the best candidates. However, she's got a nice hollowing region under the eye. She has got some colour issues in the corner, which is usually thin skin, so there's not very much fat under the lower lid, which can show the bluey, purpley muscle underneath.
Great, well, you're perfect. Let's see how it goes. Selena, what do you need to explain to Ellie before you start on this procedure?
So usually I just explain that we're going to use a cannula. It's a blunt instrument. I do have to make an entry hole using a sharp needle to allow the blunt instrument to go into the skin and underneath the muscle. And that can feel a little bit tight, a little bit rummagey, a little bit of tenderness, but it's not usually very sharp or painful. So what I do is something called a retrograde fill, and I can just see that little bit of filling as it's going on. And close your eyes again. And sometimes support that, and I can feel the cannula under my finger there, so I know I'm in the right place. And I slowly inject as I'm pulling the cannula out. It's really mouldable, so if you feel like you've got a little bit of excess or you've got a little bit of a lumps of wire, you can just smoothen that out.
That was so quick, and that was it.
That's it.
It was all right.
Yeah, that's
well done. Okay. Selena, this looks like a really nice result for Ellie. Is this what you were expecting?
It was better than I expected, actually. I think obviously we do this nearly every day, and when someone has quite thin skin under the eyes, often it's hard to see the results straight away, and it takes that week or two to see the difference. But actually, for her, you can really see the improvement in the groove all the way around the eyes, right up until the end of the cheekbone, really.
Now, what about aftercare? What does Ellie need to know about that?
Main things are that obviously she's going to have a little bit of redness and swelling, so I don't want her to do any sort of pressure type activities, so things like heavy exercise, anything that makes her red in the face. I don't want any of that for the next few days, at least 72 hours. and I'd like her to be makeup free for 24 hours. So tomorrow will be absolutely fine to wear makeup again. The tiny little holes with the cannula, they will seal shut.
So Ellie, do you think your friends will notice?
Only time will tell, really. I'm not going to tell them.
We'll
see if they notice.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Selena.
Thank you very much.